My name is Lauren Mitchell, and at 34 years old, I discovered something soul-crushing. My family didn't love me. They depended on me. There's a difference. Love is warm, companionship, mutual support. Dependence, though, especially the kind built on guilt, is cold, hungry, and endless. For 15 years, I let myself believe I was the responsible one, the successful one, the daughter who did well and therefore should help out. But the truth hit me one afternoon like a freight train, hard enough that it knocked the air out of my lungs and forced me to face something I fought against for most of my adult life. I had become my family's ATM, a machine, not a daughter, not even a person, just a source of money they believed they owned. And when I finally tried to shut the machine off, they didn't just get angry, they tried to ruin me. This is the story of how I cut them off, survived the fallout, rebuilt my life from the ground up, and learned, painfully, the difference between family by blood and family by choice. It took me 34 years to understand something many women never learn. You don't owe your family your life just because they gave you theirs. I grew up in O'Fallon, Missouri, a quiet suburb where lawns were trimmed with military precision and everyone knew which neighbors didn't mow often enough. My parents, Carol and Dennis, were the kind of people who looked stable from the outside. Mom worked part-time at a home decor store, and Dad bounced between warehouse jobs and construction gigs. From afar, we looked normal, classic Midwest family. But inside our house, it was different. Mom believed the world owed her ease. Dad believed the world owed him a break. Neither believed they had to earn either of those things. And there were 3 of us kids. Me, Lauren, the reliable one, the worker, the fixer. Hannah, 2 years younger, the pretty one, always waiting for life to hand her a shortcut. Ethan, 7 years younger, the baby, the one we all tiptoed around because he had a temper. If you grew up in a family like mine, you know exactly what role you get stuck with. The oldest daughter becomes the emotional buffer, the peacemaker, the helper, the one who fills the gaps the adults leave behind. I learned early that my needs came last. When I was 13, Mom told me, "Lauren, you're the mature one. Don't make life harder for us." When I was 16, Dad said, "You're good with money. Help your sister manage her allowance." When I was 18, on my way to college, Mom hugged me and whispered, "Don't forget where you came from. You'll do well someday. Don't forget to help us." Back then, I thought she meant emotional support. I had no idea she meant my paycheck. I attended the University of Colorado Boulder on scholarship. I worked 2 jobs, campus IT support and nights at a cafe, to cover what the scholarship didn't. Hannah, at the same time, dropped out of community college after 1 semester because she didn't like the vibe. She moved back home, worked briefly as a receptionist, then quit because it was too stressful. Ethan was still in high school, already collecting detentions like they were Pokemon cards. During those years, Mom started calling me for small things. "Lauren, can you send $100? The power bill was higher this month." "Lauren, your dad misplaced his debit card. Can you transfer $75? "Lauren, Hannah needs textbooks for her new CNA program." The CNA program lasted 2 weeks. The money never came back. But I kept sending it because I genuinely believed helping them was what good daughters do. Because I felt guilty that I was the only one doing well. Because every time I hesitated, Mom reminded me, family sacrifices for each other. Funny how the sacrifices always flowed one direction. I graduated, moved to Denver, and landed an entry-level position at a logistics tech company. I was making barely enough to live in a shoebox apartment with 2 roommates who communicated exclusively through passive-aggressive sticky notes. Yet somehow, I was still the one paying for Mom's emergency dental bill, Dad's temporary layoffs, Hannah's rent shortfall, which somehow happened every month, Ethan's lawyer fees after he got caught shoplifting. I told myself it was temporary. I told myself things would settle when they got back on their feet. But they never did. Because why would they? They had me. For them, I was the safety net. And the more I tightened my own belt, the more they loosened theirs. I missed out on vacations, dinners out, and saving for emergencies. Meanwhile, my parents somehow always had money for new patio furniture, craft beer for Dad, makeup hauls for Hannah, video games for Ethan. And still, they needed just a little help every month. It didn't matter that I was exhausted. It didn't matter that I was scraping by. It didn't matter that I was burning out. I had been trained to put them first, and they took full advantage. The last 5 years were a blur of promotions, overtime, and non-stop pressure, not just from work, but from home. As I climbed the corporate ladder, my family climbed into my wallet. The amounts grew. The guilt stayed the same. 5 years ago, Mom asked for $300, then $600, then $800. Hannah needed help starting an Etsy shop. That cost me $1,200. Ethan needed a boost until he found a job. That cost me $2,000. My parents' car broke down, $1,700. Dad's back injury limited him from working for 2 months, $2,500. I paid it, then paid again, and again, until I wasn't saving anything. I wasn't living. I wasn't breathing. And nobody noticed but me. Last year, everything finally shifted. I was up for a major promotion, Senior Operations Manager. $18,000 salary increase, leadership responsibilities, a chance to build the life I kept postponing. I had been killing myself for this. Late nights, weekend shifts, emergency deployments at 2 a.m. The kind of grind that leaves your brain buzzing like static when you try to sleep. My boss pulled me aside one Thursday morning. "Lauren, you're our strongest candidate. Just keep your numbers up this quarter." I wanted to cry. Not because of joy, but because it meant my sacrifices weren't invisible. That same afternoon, Mom called sobbing. "Lauren, it's bad. We're behind on the mortgage again." "How behind? 2 months? Maybe 3? My chest tightened. That was thousands. How did this happen? She sniffled dramatically. "I don't want to burden you with the details, but your father lost hours again. Hannah can't help. Ethan has his own issues. You're the only one we can count on." There it was, the script I knew by heart, and stupidly, I fell for it again. I transferred $3,200, my entire savings for the month, everything I had set aside for my down payment. I kept telling myself, this is the last time. But last time never exists with people who see you as a resource. 2 weeks later, during my lunch break, I opened Facebook, and my world dropped out from under me. A photo. my family, all of them. Mom, Dad, Hannah, Ethan, on a beach in Miami. Caption: "Family getaway! We deserve it!" They looked relaxed, tanned, happy, drinking cocktails, holding shopping bags, wearing outfits I didn't even know they owned. I froze. Everything inside me went silent. The mortgage, the tears, the desperation, the guilt, the urgency, the begging. It was all a lie, a setup, a manipulation, a performance designed to pry money out of me. I spent that entire afternoon staring at my computer screen, unable to work, unable to think, unable to process the sinking truth. They didn't just take my money. They took my trust, my effort, my sacrifices. And they spent it on themselves, without hesitation, without remorse, without including me. And I would have swallowed the betrayal too, if not for what came next. My Aunt Sandra accidentally forwarded me a screenshot. Her message: "Honey, I think you should see this." It was a group chat, everyone except me. "Hannah, don't tell Lauren about the trip. She'll judge us." Mom: "And she'll ask for the mortgage money back if she finds out." Ethan: "Let's just ghost her for a while." Dad: "The ATM doesn't need vacation days." ATM. They didn't even call me Lauren. They called me a machine. For the first time in my life, I didn't feel guilty. I felt rage. Not the explosive kind, not the screaming kind. A cold, clean, surgical rage. The kind that comes when clarity finally cuts through years of delusion. I realized my family didn't love me. They loved what I could do for them. And in that moment, sitting on my couch in my tiny Denver apartment, I made a decision that terrified me. I was done. Done being the provider. Done being the fixer. Done being the dependable daughter. I was going to choose myself for the first time in my life. But choosing yourself in a family like mine, it doesn't end with applause. It ends with war. I rehearsed it over and over. No more money. No more guilt. No more emotional blackmail. One simple sentence. I texted the group chat. I will no longer be providing financial support. I need to take care of my own life. Please do not contact me for money again. Then I muted the chat, turned my phone face down, and waited. The responses came fast and vicious. Mom: "How dare you embarrass us?" Dad: "Ungrateful. We made you who you are." Hannah: "You're a horrible sister. I hope you enjoy your lonely life." Ethan: "Don't expect us to help you when you need it." I read each message, deleted none, saved all. And for the first time in 34 years, I didn't reply. It felt like ripping off my own skin. But beneath the pain, something else was growing. Relief. I didn't just set boundaries. I armed them. Step 1. Cut off the money. I canceled every automatic transfer, closed shared accounts, changed passwords, notified my bank about unauthorized access because Mom had guessed my password before, twice. Step 2. Prepare for retaliation. People who rely on you will always punish you when you stop feeding them. I documented. Years of payments, messages, threats, guilt trips, screenshots of the Miami trip, the group chat using ATM. I didn't know what I'd need, but I wanted evidence of the truth they would try to rewrite. Step 3. Tell the truth to people who matter. My closest friends knew bits and pieces, but none of them knew the scale. When I told Jenna, my best friend, her jaw literally dropped. "Lauren, this is abuse." Hearing that word felt like a punch, but also like someone finally switched on the lights in a room I'd been stumbling around in for years. She made me promise to talk to HR if my family escalated. I laughed. Why would they contact my job? I didn't know then that it was exactly what they would do. Step 4. Build a future without them. I made 3 lists. A. What I wanted. Peace, savings, my own home, a life without fear of every text message. B. What I needed to change. Stop overworking. Start saying no. Take back control of my finances. C. What family meant to me now. Not obligation, not guilt, not sacrifice. Family meant reciprocity, respect, kindness. And if they couldn't offer that, then they weren't family. Not anymore. 3 weeks after I cut them off, my promotion finally came through. Senior Operations Manager, bigger salary, more responsibility, a real path forward. I celebrated with my team. Nothing extravagant, just a few drinks at a rooftop bar with string lights and live music. It felt like the beginning of the life I had always postponed. I went to bed happy. The next morning, HR emailed me. Subject: urgent, meeting requested. My stomach dropped. When I joined the video call, the HR director, Megan, looked uncomfortable. "Lauren, your mother called the corporate office this morning." I blinked. "What?" "She made several allegations about you. She said you were unstable, financially irresponsible, possibly abusing substances, and unfit for a leadership role." My jaw hung open. "She also emailed your department head and the CEO." The CEO. I felt the world tilt sideways. Megan raised her hand gently. "Lauren, we don't believe her, but we need your side for the record." I explained everything: the financial dependence, the manipulation, the Miami trip, the guilt, the years of being drained dry. By the time I finished, Megan's eyes were soft with empathy. "Lauren, this is financial abuse. You are not in trouble, but we're going to take steps to protect you." In the span of 30 minutes, HR blocked my family's numbers, added a harassment flag to my file, alerted legal, offered free counseling, told senior management to ignore future contact. When the call ended, I sat there shaking. Not because I was scared, because I finally felt seen. 2 days later, corporate legal mailed my parents a cease and desist letter for harassment, defamation, and workplace interference. They were furious. Dad left a voicemail yelling, "You think you can threaten us with lawyers? You owe us. We raised you." Mom sent a long email about how I humiliated the family. I didn't reply. Without my monthly injections of cash, everything they'd been covering up started unraveling. The mortgage was already behind. Dad's job hadn't been steady in months. Hannah had maxed out every credit card. Ethan had 2 unpaid traffic violations. Their car insurance had lapsed. Their utilities were on the brink of shutoff. My silence, cost them the lifestyle I had unknowingly funded. In our hometown, image is currency. When bills went unpaid, when the car got repossessed, when Hannah had to move back home, when Ethan got in trouble again, people started asking questions. My parents panicked. They tried to spin it. Lauren abandoned us. Lauren is selfish. Lauren thinks she's too good for her roots. But my aunt, the same one who sent me the screenshot, started correcting them. Word started spreading. I had helped them for 15 years. I had supported them through every crisis. They had used me until I had nothing left to give. Suddenly, the story didn't make them look like victims. It made them look like parasites. People I barely knew reached out. My cousin Emily, "You don't deserve this." My neighbor, "If you ever need anything, I'm here." My coworkers, "You're not alone." For the first time, I realized something heartbreaking. I had been pouring myself out for the wrong people. It has now been 18 months since the day I shut the ATM down. And here's what changed. A 2-bedroom condo overlooking the mountains. Sunlight, space, peace. Not $1 of it was borrowed or gifted. All mine. It's amazing what happens when you're not plugging other people's leaks. No more panic when my phone buzzes. No more dread checking my bank account. No more guilt weighing down every decision. Because I finally had emotional space to nurture relationships that were mutual, not draining. The cease and desist forced them into silence. At first, it hurt. Then I realized, silence is peace when noise is abuse. After telling her everything, she looked at me and said, "You didn't lose a family. You lost people who were pretending to be one." She was right. I didn't walk away from love. I walked away from obligation disguised as love. If your family makes you feel responsible for their happiness, if you feel dread instead of joy when they call, if helping them means hurting yourself, if family helps family always means you helping them, listen to me. You are not their ATM. You are not their insurance plan. You are not their emotional punching bag. You are not selfish for choosing yourself. The moment you stop letting people use you, the only ones who get angry are the ones who benefited from your lack of boundaries. Choosing yourself is not betrayal. It is survival. It is liberation. It is the beginning of the life you deserve. I lost the family I was born into, but I gained the family I chose. And I gained myself. And that is worth everything.